shut off. Let me redo that.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was better. All right.
Hello.
Welcome, Irene.
Hello.
So, Irene is going to be one of 32 authors that will be at the Holiday Book Festival in Milford, Michigan on November 30th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, Irene, you have a fantasy adventure middle grade novel that you had published, and then
Yes.
you have a new book out.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
Tell us about your middle grade novel.
Oh, well, it's called The Secret World of Yond Haven. I can just show you quickly. Yeah.
Oh,
And it's a middle grade, as you say. It's a fantasy science fiction. Um, it has environmental aspects. It's about two children that go into a world which has pollution monsters from Earth, and they're attacking this beautiful world, and so they have all these adventures, and eventually, well, I won't tell you the ending, but there's a certain magic that happens, and it's a kind of book that many children have enjoyed so far, and I think it's I like the to me I like the environmental aspect of it, that that we need to think about the pollution that we got it on Earth, and try to change it and do something about it. So,
awesome. So
mm,
now you just published your poetry book.
mhm,
Tell
mhm.
us about that one.
Well, let me show you. It's called Into the Elements. Now, this came out of a poetry reading that I gave um, at the First Universalist Church of Detroit, and and for their poetry vespers, and which they have monthly online, and um, what I did was I divided my poems into 5 parts, which reflect the 5 natural elements of the earth, which include earth, water, um, fire, air, and space. So I divided my poems. I just took poems out from my long writing of poems. I've written poems since I was 13. And then I found the poems which especially reflect nature. For instance, one is about a tree, one is about a waterfall, which I plunged into, a waterfall pool in New
Mhm.
Hampshire. And and one is about a little box turtle who I felt was captured and sad. So it's my kind of looking at nature and feeling the sense of both beauty and sometimes sadness, and really delving into nature, and sometimes in a spiritual way. So so that's how it came to be. So I decided to publish my readings, as it were, so that people could enjoy it. People asked, would you please print it? So I did. Have it printed out. So I did. It was kind of like, okay. So I've written poetry since I was like 13, and I've never really done much about publishing, though I've occasionally got prizes, you know, uh, in various contests and so on. And and I think I've just been learning my craft all this time. So I'm very happy to at last have something produced. But the poems themselves are, I think, meant to be savored. Each one, they're not, just enjoy each poem as it is, because uh, they're reflective and meditative, and they're short, so they're not hard to read, and
Hmm.
and and I'm very happy with the way it turned out and the different sections that I have. And now I must tell you about my illustrator.
I was just going to ask about that.
Yeah, yes, yeah, yes. That is one of the great aspects of this is collaboration. So I
Hmm.
collaborated with an old friend of mine who was actually at the University of Michigan when she was young, and then she went to Japan and studied under an artist there, and came back with this skill of doing beautiful kind of calligraphic art. And
Mm.
her name's Tara Marble, and so I asked her to do the illustration of the book. So this first page, this front cover, and
Very
so
good.
on, is a actually an enlargement of one of her particular uh, illustrations called, which is air, which
Ah.
that's the trick, yeah. And so my designer enlarged it and put it on the front cover, and I think it works with the.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so she's done several of those kind of things, and this one too. There's several. Oops, there's
I
several.
move it over just a little bit. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Get an
So
idea.
you're
Yeah.
going to be reading out of this book at the festival. And so we'll get to see the pictures in person at the
Yes.
festival.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I know it's helpful, to get. And I'd love to. I'm looking forward to reading because I enjoy that process of connecting with an audience. Yeah. So thank you for that, for
Well,
doing that.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll now I did notice something in your bio, and I
Mhm.
noticed it with your accent. You were born in England and then
Yeah.
you came to the US when you
Yes.
were 15. So
Yeah.
what brought you to the US?
Well, my family. It was my father was a professor, and he was invited, uh, sort of what they call a brain drain, to come and live and teach in America. So off we all went, and I landed in America during the Beatle era.
Ah,
So
they
there I
followed
was.
you.
It's like, okay. And they all wanted to know if I'd met the Beatles. And no, I'm sorry, but but
Unfortunately, no.
so it was that kind of beginning, and when I lived in New York State for a while, and then I went
Mhm.
to college at Cornell University, and and then I decided eventually to become a teacher. So I was a librarian for a while, but it was all a bit too quiet for me. I'd rather, I like the social aspect of being a teacher. So I became a reading specialist, and uh, and taught for 20 years, uh, and enjoyed that because I enjoy the process of teaching, reading, and enjoying poetry and so on. So I went through all that. And then when I retired, that's when I could really concentrate on writing poetry.
Enough you bothered with that work stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no time. There was no time. I mean, I joined some groups, but there was no time. But when I moved to Virginia and found a wonderful little writing group there, and it
Mm.
very supportive. And then when I moved here to Michigan, because of my family is here, my daughter and granddaughter and so on, um, I felt this sense of real support from many people here. So it gave me more confidence, and I'm very grateful for that. And you giving me confidence too. So thank you. Yeah, yeah. Um, and
So
that's
your so
yeah,
your daughter and your granddaughter are in Michigan.
yes,
Will they be joining us at the Holiday Book Festival?
yes. In fact, yeah, they want to come, and
Awesome.
my granddaughter. I dedicated the book, the Into the Elements, both of them actually, to my granddaughter because I wanted her to be able to enjoy them, especially the poetry book, when she grows up, and can really enjoy know something about me other than just being, grandma. and,
Awesome.
and
So
so
how old is the granddaughter?
she's almost 8. Um,
Oh,
will she will actually be 8 by the time we have the book fair, and
okay.
she loves this kind of poetry. She has written poems herself. I
Oh.
don't know what she will end up doing. She's more into the math and science and things
Mm.
like that. Um, but she has. I think I wrote. I just want to say why I wrote, why I'm dedicating it to her a little bit more, because I think that when I was a child, my father read poetry to me,
Mm.
and also we had poetry evenings and things like that. It was just part of our family thing, and then I he would sometimes read my poems back to me, and
Ah.
connection, I think, with somebody older who kind of mentors you through,
Mm.
um, and reads to you and so on is very, to me, a very important thing, and to understand that there's a generational uh, aspect to this, from the past to the present and to the future.
Mhm.
And my poems have something to do with that too, with time.
Okay.
Yeah, and uh, with nature and time, and how I relate over the years to it. And the last poem is sort of thinking about, um, the last two poems think about my generation and what my
Mhm.
generation feels and has experienced about nature, and also any of the great changes in our science actually,
Mhm.
and cell phones stuff.
Yeah, those have come about and have really taken over our lives.
Yes, I know. I'm worried about that actually.
It's like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I
Hmm.
don't know. Yeah, it's kind of like the two-edged sword, Yeah, what? I think it's a good thing. I mean, I think being able to do this online is a
Mhm.
wonderful thing that we couldn't do before. So there've been these amazing changes, and that's what I've been through. And anyway, my poems themselves try to reflect where I've come from and where I'm going, and my discovery, um, of it all, you know. But I especially love my nature poems because they
Mm.
have that spiritual reflection there too. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am looking forward to hearing your poetry
Mhm.
and seeing those awesome illustrations.
Mm.
And
Mm.
meeting you in person in November. So this has been great. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for having me. This is wonderful. Thank you very much.